welcome to Vijay Classes. In this video we will be going to discuss all the chemical reactions of class 10th chapter 1, chemical reaction and equation. We have prepared all the equipments and apparatus that will be required along with the chemicals in this video. So this will be going to a very interesting and very useful video for all the students of class 10th. So let's start the video. The reaction between potassium permanganate and citric acid. The simple chemical reaction. When we add potassium permanganate solution to citric acid, we have prepared citric acid. The source of citric acid could be lemon juice, or we can also use a pure citric acid and we can mix it with the water to get citric acid solution. We have taken potassium permanganate in the test tube. We will be taking the water and making a solution. For this we will take the water using dropper. Here is a potassium permanganate solution. Potassium permanganate is purple in color. You can see. When we add citric acid to the potassium permanganates, its color disappears after some time. You can see we can add citric acid to potassium permanganate. After some time the color will change. You can see the formation of gases here and the color is slowly changing. If one will put a hand on the test tube, we can easily feel the evolution of heat here. So this is also a exothermic reaction, because in exothermic reaction large amount of heat is produced. You can easily see the movement of chemicals here, really very feeling it. So it is an exothermic reaction. Our next reaction will be the reaction between calcium oxide and water, which is a combination reaction. When we add calcium oxide to water, we observe the formation of calcium hydroxide. So it is a combination reaction. First we will take beaker. Add water to it slowly by using dropper. Now we can add calcium oxide to it. Calcium oxide is a white powder. You can clearly see calcium oxide is a white powder. Yes, we can slightly agitate the mixture so as to get calcium hydroxide. Here we will observe the formation of calcium hydroxide. This is a combination reaction. This reaction has a very important utility in whitewashing. A solution of calcium oxide in water, which is called calcium hydroxide, is used for whitewashing. This reaction is used for whitewashing. How? because when we apply calcium hydroxide to the our walls, then after 2 to 3 days of the whitewashing, the calcium hydroxide, this solution, reacts with the CO2 present in the room and forms a white shiny layer of calcium carbonate. This compound, calcium carbonate. When calcium hydroxide reacts with the CO2 present in the room, it forms calcium carbonate, and calcium carbonate gives white finishing to the walls. So this reaction is used for whitewashing. Also, this is a combination reaction because calcium oxide reacts with water to forms calcium hydroxide. This is a combination reaction. Also, this is an exothermic reaction because if we touch the beaker, we can feel that the beaker is slightly warm. So it is a exothermic reaction. Heat is evolved in this reaction. Next reaction will be the burning of magnesium ribbon. I have shown the magnesium ribbon. When we burn magnesium ribbon in air, we observe the formation of a white powder called magnesium oxide. This is a simple reaction. We can perform it using a burner, or we can also use a burning candle. We have taken the magnesium ribbon over a tongue which is used to hold it. We can collect the ash form using a china dish. We can see that the magnesium ribbon burns with a white and dazzling light, producing a powder of magnesium oxide. The powder form here is the white magnesium oxide. One important point to note is that when we burn magnesium ribbon in the candle or in the burner, we used to rub the magnesium ribbon with a sandpaper. This is essential because magnesium ribbon reacts with the oxygen and CO2 present in the air to form a thin layer of magnesium oxide and carbonate, which is black in color, which prevents the burning of magnesium ribbon. So this is necessary. Whenever you burn magnesium ribbon, rub the magnesium ribbon with the sandpaper. And the powder form here is the magnesium oxide, which is white in color. You can see this is white in color. Our next reaction is the burning of or heating of ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate is a green compound. You can easily observe, but when we start heating, you can easily observe the formation of a brown compound. You can see there is a formation of brown compound near the test tube when we are heating it. This is the burning of the ferrous sulfate compound, which is green. You can easily observe, you can easily see that the ferrous sulfate compound is green. Ferrous sulfate is green compound. We are performing the burning of the ferrous sulfate here. You can see that the color of the ferrous sulfate is slowly changing to brown, light brown. You can easily observe near the flame. This is the burning of or heating of ferrous sulfate. Also, slight gases are also evolving in this reaction. The gases are sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, SO2 and SO3. This is the burning of ferrous sulfate. Our next reaction is the burning of lead nitrate. Lead nitrate is a colorless, or you can say white color compound. It is generally colorless or white. You can easily see its color is white. Lead nitrate is white in color. When we burn lead nitrate, we observe the formation of yellow color compound. You can see slightly yellow color compound is forming, which is lead iodide. When lead nitrate is heated or burned, then lead oxide is formed, which is yellow in color. Then you can also observe the formation of nitrogen dioxide gas and the formation of oxygen. There is slight formation of the vapors here. These are the vapors of nitrogen dioxide and oxygen gases. The nitrogen dioxide gas has a brown fumes. Brown fumes are formed in this reaction. Brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide gases form and oxygen gases evolve. Our third thermal decomposition reaction is the burning of calcium carbonate. You can easily observe the calcium carbonate is a white powder. Calcium carbonate is a white powder. You can see it is a white powder. When we burn calcium carbonate, it decomposes to form calcium oxide, which is also a white powder, and the formation of CO2 gas. Next reaction is the oxidation reaction of copper. When we burn copper in the presence of oxygen, then the copper turns to copper oxide. Actually, copper is, everyone knows, is brown in color. Copper, this is the copper turnings or copper fillings. This is copper turning or copper fillings. You can easily observe that it is brownish in color, or I have copper turnings which are brown in color. So copper is brown in color. When we burn copper, its color changes to black due to oxidation reaction, and we observe the formation of copper oxide, which is black. Now if someone asks, can we bring back the original copper from this copper oxide? Actually, we have made copper oxide here. Can we change this copper oxide to copper again, which is brown? The answer will be yes. How? If we pass hydrogen gas to this copper oxide, we will observe after some time the formation of brown copper and water here. This will be a redox reaction, because here copper oxide will changes to copper, which is brown, hence it is undergoing reduction reaction. At the same time, the hydrogen gas which we are passing here, we are passing hydrogen gas here. The hydrogen gas will combines with oxygen to form water, which will be oxidation reaction. Hence, reduction and oxidation both are taking place. This will be a redox reaction. Now you can see that the brown color copper metal is again forming here. The test tube is becoming slightly brown again due to the formation of copper metal. Hence the redox reaction is getting completed here. Reaction will be reaction between zinc granules and hydrochloric acid. When we add zinc granules to the hydrochloric acid, then we observe the formation of hydrogen gas and zinc sulfate is formed. Here are the zinc granules. We will be adding them to the test tube. Now we have dilute hydrochloric acid. We will take it using the dropper. can easily see the formation of some hydrogen gas. We can test the hydrogen gas if we put the delivery tube over the burning candle. Then a pop sound is observed, indicating that the hydrogen gases form in this reaction. You can see the hydrogen gas is moving up. We have put the delivery tube and it is passing through the burning candle. A slight pop sound is observed, indicating that there is the formation of hydrogen gas. You can observe that the hydrogen gas is moving very fastly up and zinc sulfate is formed in this reaction. We have put the delivery tube using the cork. You can observe a slight pop sound. A slight pop sound is observed. This shows that the reaction is evolving hydrogen. If I again bring the hydrogen gas near the burning candle, you can observe the light pop sound. This is the reaction which I was telling you. This is the test of the hydrogen gas. This pop sound is the test of the hydrogen gas.